Welcome, travelers. Well, we've reached the end, or more appropriately, the present. The past will remain where it is, as a place of comfort to return to when nostalgia decides to embrace us for moments at a time. And I suppose it's safe to say that finding a spot of permanent physical residence in these pixelated playscapes just isn't going to happen. Nor do I think that it would be good for this traveler, but they will always hold a position within the Rolodex of my mind that I can return to and reminisce about in my later years. Circling back around to the topic at hand though, I want to explore the thoughts and feelings that have come about from creating this series with my inquisitive revisitation upon the past. Some good, some not so good, but that's kind of how it is when you're able to see things for how they were versus how your brain remembers them. So, let's talk about it. One of the biggest takeaways I've had from this series is that my enjoyment with MMORPGs mostly boiled down to two different factors: how attached I became to the world via music, ambience, and art direction, and how long I could keep progression going for my character. It was rarely the story or lore that drew me in and kept me there. It was usually the carrot on the stick, which I'm ashamed to admit. Well, that is unless the game had more to do in the realm of simulation or crafting versus progression. Now, that's not to say that I wasn't having fun running dungeons and other typical endgame things, because I was. But the fun part for me had more to do with the feel of dungeon crawling in a well put together scenario, rather than killing boss and getting loot. I took pleasure in some of the minute details that were not important to the mission, but made the mission more engrossing for me. Like small trickles of water running down from a crack in the rock ceiling, moss-covered stones and echoing splashes, or expansive caverns with huge guardians meant to give a feeling of foreboding expectations. I have never played Dungeons & Dragons, but I believe these are the sort of details that would pull me in and help me feel immersed in what I'm doing instead of always thinking of things as numbers and goals. Unfortunately, that's exactly what my brain ends up doing after a certain point in time. Lost in the sauce, I believe, is the term I would use to describe it, because for most MMORPGs, if you want to experience higher level content, you kind of have to make it a numbers game, and hop on the hamster wheel of RNG-based systems to acquire the equipment you need to proceed forward with a group of people. I'm not saying I have a better solution to keep players within a game, but for me, when the game stops being a world that I look forward to when logging in, what's the point? I will say that the games I ended up spending the most amount of time with were the ones that offered a full game experience through leveling up your character and had opportunities through arduous grinds or left it up to the player to decide what to do. Rather than offering daily, weekly quests, time-gated content, and endgame is the real game mentality, which has quickly led to averting my attention elsewhere. Most people tend to have routines, daily jobs, chores, children, etc. And if an MMO escape is what you crave at the end of the day, do you want it to be another venture into daily jobs, chores, and routines? Or would you rather a more freeing experience, one that continues after reaching a specific level? Or maybe a game that is willing to let you go once you've accomplished the meat and potatoes of what it's offering. The land of video games is a place full of impermanence, randomness, variety, artistic expression, musical elegance, all beautiful pieces of the virtual world that should be celebrated. no one should be living out a second life forever in one game unless they are actually enjoying that process. But once it ceases to bring a sense of satisfaction or fun, then you really should just move on. Because the option is there, unlike in real life. Many of us have found ourselves strapped to one online game for years at a time, potentially missing out on tons of other titles during their relevance. But one of the fantastic things about this medium, again, unlike real life, is you can actually go back in time and play all of those games that you've missed. So do yourself a favor. Get out of that comfort zone and explore something new from the safety of your well-worn couch, computer chair, or bed. Because there's not too many other parts of your life that can offer this kind of a freedom. As for me, MMORPGs will always be a part of my life, as I forever look to the horizon for a savior to my never-ending need of fantastical online adventures. But concerning this YouTube channel and its direction, well, I will always be creating something related to the vast world of video games, as it has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. So, coming soon, you can expect something familiar, but also altogether new. See you in the next one.